Now, we're going to take you to Russia because the ousted Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovich is delivering a statement in the southern Russian port city of Rostov-on-Don. He's scheduled to discuss the crisis in Ukraine and his political future. So we'll take you now.
The legitimate president of Ukraine, but I'm also the chief of staff, the commander of the army. I am alive, and I have not been impeached according to the Ukrainian constitution. The United States and a number of other countries have been stressing that I have allegedly lost my legitimacy because I fled the country. Let me say again, I never fled anywhere. While the radicals were attacking and seizing constitutional and public and government buildings, as you all know very well, I was in Ukraine, in Kharkiv in particular, and later I went to Donetsk and to the Crimea. During the coup, I never left the territory of Ukraine. These days, there have been quite a few attempted terrorist actions against me, but they failed. And I'm sure that once the situation becomes better in a way, I will return to Kiev immediately. Let me assure you that the presidential elections to take place on the 25th of May will be totally illegitimate and illegal, and they run counter to the Article 103 of the Ukrainian Constitution, because these elections will be run by a junta that took power in Ukraine. It is also clearly understood that if this election does take place, it will be totally controlled by extremists. I would like the international community to understand that they must not and should not support non-constitutional coups. I believe everyone knows and is well aware of the US government's decision to pay $1 billion to this non-constitutional junta. But as far as I know, American laws prohibit the American government from providing financial assistance to a government that trampled a legitimate president. I'm going to apply to the US Congress, the US Senate and the US Supreme Court, asking them to give an assessment, a legal assessment, to the actions of this Ukrainian government. You do not have any legal grounds to provide any financial assistance to these bandits, to these gangs. I would like you to warn that the economic situation in Ukraine is going to degenerate, and those who usurped the power are going to shift the blame for this economic crisis on my shoulders and perhaps even on Russia. I will never agree to that. I have nothing to do with this at all. These actions they are planning to cut down on welfare benefits and pensions, I believe that they are totally inhumane. My government and me, we had a clear plan on maintaining the Ukrainians' living standards. Now, after the unconstitutional coup and after this junta usurped power, they made it totally impossible. The people who did this are going to be made responsible for firing shots at your own people, for torturing your own people. Ukraine is going through a very tough time now. Because of your actions, Crimea is going to secede. And these people are demanding their rights to be complied with. But you must know that one day the country will unite. The people will never be as blinded. And I would like to say...
Well, we'll leave that press conference there by Viktor Yanukovych, and that was held in southern Russia, or is being held in southern Russia. It's interesting that Viktor Yanukovych said that he had never left his position in Ukraine. He felt that he was still the president. There had been terrorist actions against him, but they had all failed, and he has vowed that he will go back to Kiev. And he has also been talking about this referendum that is coming up on March the 16th and referring to it as something that is being controlled by extremists. So there's a lot